Black Mirror Season 3 is out, and I've watched a little bit of it. I want to talk about one episode in particular, which is episode 2, Playtest. Now, if you don't know about Black Mirror, you definitely should, especially if you love technology, shows like The Twilight Zone, where it is a sci-fi vision of perhaps a future, perhaps an alternate world based on current technology trends and ways that society could be going. For instance, season 3 starts off with an episode called Nosedive, which plays off the idea of people rating each other and how we would act and how we would be able or not able to suppress our emotions in order to keep ourselves up to this standard, this somewhat arbitrary, fake, smiley, happy standard, whatever it may be. That one hit close to home and it made me very stressed out. But I also want to talk about Playtest, which is it's rooted, I think this is the first one that's really based on a video game, in Black Mirror at least, which it did take a while to get there, but I'm so glad that we did. So spoilers ahead for those of you who have not seen that episode yet. I do advise that you do. It's just approximately an hour of your time. It's very good. It's about a guy who ostensibly needs money for a reason. I'm just summing it up in a nutshell. He needs money for reasons because he's stranded, so he decides to use a TaskRabbit type app and go do a playtest for a game, which is kind of a secret technology. It does kind of base itself, they say VR, but it really is AR because you are looking at reality and digital mixing in. However, it does involve a neural implant in the back of the head, which doesn't seem to hurt, which I find weird, but it's sci-fi, so I'm gonna let that one go. And then there's a blending between what is real and what is being generated by this game. It's not a game necessarily, it's kind of a neural network. It's definitely learning from what is in that person's memories. There are some twists. I'm not going to get into them. Not pertinent to what I'm saying. Good episode, though. Check it out. We'll talk about it later. And the basis of reality for this episode isn't necessarily AR, VR. I think it's more on machine learning, on neural networks, on the idea that this program would be able to learn and then also apply what it learns to viscerally give an experience to the user, which is something that is happening in real life, albeit not as crazy as in this show. They did say, we made the program too strong, which is luckily not our problem at this point, but there is a lot of machine learning in games. For instance, Silent Hill Shattered Memories features a psychologist character who he seems there to like kind of understand the character, but really what he's doing is forming a psychological profile on the player themselves, which will affect the rest of the game later. There will be different writings in notes. There will be different moods, different ways that you get attacked by the AI. Perhaps you don't like confined areas. Perhaps you have different ways of dealing with the game. And it also does learn in that way of paying attention to your play style and adjusting to further scare you, which is very close to what happened in the episode, though it's not the only way. You don't need to necessarily have a personalized nightmare for machine learning to work in games. There are also researchers, most of this is confined to the research field for now, who have built levels of Super Mario Brothers that procedurally generates based on how the person plays. There is also a version of Pac-Man made by researchers in which the ghosts actually learn what you're doing and then kind of follow your strategy. Maybe you run into the little dead end and then you should run real quick, or then you act like you're going to do and then you don't. So you're going to have to evolve your play style and get better, and it's not really what Namco imagined back in the day. Valve's Left 4 Dead also has a version of an AI director that also follows your play style and kind of figures out what your activities are and caters to that as well. It's very easy. I mean, when you look at mobile games or perhaps even Facebook-connected browser games, remember Zynga? I know it's kind of an old reference, but back in its day, it did pretty well. It's still around, but it was known for collecting data and then applying that data. This is pretty much the same thing, albeit probably in a less capitalistic measure. And it's not it doesn't necessarily need to just be a horror game or something that makes things more hard and scary and difficult. There are also games like Konami's 1997 arcade dating game, hope I pronounce it right, Oshiate Your Heart, which has a sensor that measures the player's heart rate and skin conductance to influence the outcome of each romantic liaison. So it could also affect perhaps romantic side quests. I mean, I'm looking at you, BioWare, and make you feel more or cater to your emotional capabilities. Or there's also physiological testing, which is a great part of this as well. However, this is almost exclusively all in the research field and not at the consumer level. But there is so much possibility in the idea of neural networking for games, applying to games, making them that much more interactive. And it is happening, and I hope it's not as scary as this episode and how it ended up. A lot of the way it ended up wasn't super related. I don't want to spoil it too much, but a lot of it is more based on horror and sci-fi than necessarily games, so I hope that's not in our future. Audience, did you watch that episode, and what did you think of it? And do you like the idea of a game learning more about you and then turning it up that much more? Let us know below in the comments, and please like and subscribe for more.